This is Duke University.
My name is Ann Dana, and I'm a 2L at Duke Law School, and I'm part of a group of students who traveled to Brazil this spring to work on a land rights project. 10 students and Professor Laurence Helfer traveled to Rio in Brazil, where we spent 6 days working on land rights issues with Quilombo communities. In Brazil, you're dealing with Quilombos who are traditionally understood as being runaway slaves. And these runaway slaves established communities in rural areas that then kind of created their own cultural traditions, incorporating African traditions with Brazilian traditions.
Turns out that Brazil in 1998 had a major constitutional referendum that led to the adoption of a new constitutional charter for the country, and it includes a provision on collective land title, recognizing collective land title for these Quilombola or Afro-Brazilian communities.
Mas efetivamente tem apontado para avanços na conquista de direitos coletivos, por exemplo, no caso das comunidades quilombolas.
But they've also have played a very important role of advancing collective rights, particularly for Quilombo communities.
We actually traveled to a Quilombo community called Alta de Serra, and there we met with that community along with members of 2 other communities that had traveled there to meet with us. Part of what we did there was walk around the community itself, so we got to see all of their land, appreciate some of the projects that they're working on. They have some sustainable environmental projects, including fishing and water resource work that they're doing. And then we also talked about kind of where each of the 3 communities are in the actual titling process and learned about kind of where the holdups are and why they're encountering problems. So I think in law school, when you're sitting in your classes and you're reading your textbooks, the law seems like a very concrete, tangible thing. And when you study it, it's kind of A plus B equals C. Once you have a law, I think a lot of law students, especially in the US, kind of expect, well, once you have the law gets followed. And I think what was particularly useful in this trip was the realization of it's so much more complicated. I think we all realized that there are a lot of competing interests here. It's not just that you need the law on the books, but you need the government support, you need the kind of Brazilian people's support of this process. You need buy-in, and that takes money, it takes kind of political will, and I think that that was something that you don't get from a classroom. You don't get to see all these moving parts. Just having the experience of traveling to another country, meeting other people, having your eyes open to different communities, different expectations, and different ways of seeing the world is really insightful for students. And you know, I think all of us individually came away with a really special experience.
So one of the reasons why I supported the Students' Initiative for this international legal services trip was because I think there is a very strong demand among students for experiential learning opportunities relating to international and comparative law. And this was one way, I think, of satisfying that demand in the short term. And what I'm hopeful will happen is that the students' excitement about the trip will be translated into more excitement and initiative going forward to try to have similar sorts of experiences in the future. They may not be an identical experience, they may not be in the same country or with the same set of communities, but they would be the kinds of experience that would give students the opportunity to take what they learn in the classroom and translate that outside of the classroom and then have the feedback effect. So what they learn about how the law applies in practice actually informs how they understand and study law when they're at Duke.
Produced by Duke University, online at duke.edu.